Well, hello YouTubers. We are going to be changing a filter and a gasket on this transmission on my 01 Taurus, and this job basically is the same for just about any vehicle. So if you've never actually done this, this will give you some idea how to do it and everything. Pretty much got my car all set up. I got the front wheels up on my ramps. I got the back wheels pretty much chocked there. I got my shocks back there, and they should keep it from rolling over me. And let's see, emergency brake is on, so make sure you put your emergency brake on. Now, I'm going to show you underneath here. They do make, this is a 4X, let's see, this is a AX4N transmission. I don't know if you can see the numbers there. They make two types of this transmission. They make a 17 bolt pan that gets bolted on here, and they make a 19, I'm sorry. It's a 17 and a 19. Mine is 19. Now, when you're getting your new gasket and filter, make sure you know which one you have. Get under here and count your bolts. And you can see mine's leaking just a little bit. Nothing serious, but when I put the gasket back on after I rebuilt the transmission, I wanted to drive it a while, get all the gunk out of it, and get the filter kind of, you know, filtering everything out before I put a new filter and everything on it. And the gasket's actually torn a couple places, but it's been leaking just a little bit, so I figured for less than, well about $20, that's what I paid for the gasket kit. I'm going to swap this out. Now, here are my gasket kits. Here's the one that has the 19 bolt pattern. You can see it's a little different from the one that was 17. This one I've got to take back. It's a little narrow here, but on the bottom of this one it's a lot wider, and this is the one I'm going to be using. That one there is going to be going back. So I've pretty much got the car cooled off. I got my fan under here. It's pretty much cool to the touch now. I can actually start working. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and set up here, put a pan under here, and start taking bolts out, and we'll drop this off. It shouldn't be too bad of a job. And just make sure you have something wide enough to catch this fluid when it comes out of here, because this pan is very long and wide. It's really difficult to get a bucket under here or anything that's pretty big to catch everything. So you may have to sort of negotiate, get a couple of pans and kind of catch the fluid. But the idea here is I'm going to start on this side, taking bolts off, and work my way back that way. That way the pan will kind of tip down like that, and I can catch much of the fluid, or most of the fluid, on this side, and keeping it from getting all over the place and killing the grass, because it's dry and we haven't had any rain for about a month. And of course a little bit of transmission fluid wouldn't really help the grass that much. So we'll go ahead and start here, and we'll get this all put together hopefully pretty quick, and this will give you guys some idea how this is done. So here we go. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the camera here. I'm going to let you watch me take this pan off in real time. I am going to be using a 8mm little socket, and I'm going to be using one of these guys because they make your life a lot easier, especially when you got a lot of bolts to take off. So I've got 19 to take off, and I've got my pan set up there. So this should be pretty easy. So if you're impatient, and you're probably thinking, get to the point, well, you might want to just skip through the video and go somewhere else and watch another video. But I'm going to do this for the people who's never done this before, so that they'll know exactly what they have got to do and what it takes. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start ripping these bolts out. And like I said, the idea is that I'm going to drop it off on this side so I can tip it down so I can catch much of the fluid on this side and work my way back to those pan bolts. So here we go. I still don't know why they don't put a drain plug on the bottom of the pan. And there's probably about 6 quarts in this that's going to come out. And you can see we're already starting to drip a little bit. I think I got that one. And you can see how much faster and easier it is with one of these guys helping you out, these guns. Of cordless tools. And there comes the fluid, nice and red. You want your fluid nice and red. Makes a big difference when the transmission's cool. And we just about got all the bolts out. There we go. Like I said, you get a nice little bath. And once you get down here to the last couple of bolts, you just got to take your time. Because if you turn these bolts too fast, the pan will drop down real fast and fluid really will come out. And I got one bolt left right here. So I'm going to take my other hand and kind of, let's see, double check, make sure I got everything out. Yep. That's pretty much it. So we'll just take off the last bolt here, slowly. There we go. That was probably a little too fast, but... Alright, I'm going to take the other hand here and yeah, that was about right. It looks like about a gallon or so of fluid, and we'll drop the pan down. Tip it sideways, get the rest of the fluid out of it. Now, that is off. There's the filter. And we'll let that sit there a little bit, and we'll let that drain. Right there's the filter. I don't know if you saw that. And like I said, I rebuilt this transmission about a month and a half ago, and it's been running great. I've put about 4,000 miles on it. No issues whatsoever, but like I said, that gasket was leaking. So we'll pull this out here. We'll give you a nice look at it and see what we're up against. And let me wipe my hands off here so I don't ruin my new camera. Alright, but there's a nice look at the transmission, the bottom of it. Well, I think I'm still focused. There we go, okay. There's the pan, filter I mean, and you can see all the bolts you got to take out. It's pretty easy to do. And I'll let that drip a little bit. Alright, let's go out here and we'll look at this pan. And here is a good thing. The pan looks pretty good. I don't see any metal. The fluid is nice and red. That's what you want. And this little magnet here, this is just a magnet to catch debris that gets sometimes broken down off of gears. Just if it's black and very, very fine, nothing to worry about. The thing you're looking for in these transmissions are pieces of metal, things that shouldn't be in there, but I see absolutely nothing. Just your basic carbon buildup and maybe some very fine clutch material, which is not too unusual. But other than that, transmission is running great. Now here's the old gasket. We'll take it off and I'll show you where it was leaking at. It was actually torn. One spot here when I put pressure on it. Well, anyway, it's leaking there somewhere. So we'll throw this off to the side. But so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and dump the rest of this fluid out of here in one of those pans, clean this up, and we'll go ahead and stick the new gasket on here. Now I'm going to use, some people will take a little bit of silicone and put on here just to kind of hold that gasket in place, but I'm going to let it sit flat for a few minutes and maybe it'll stay there. If not, I might actually do that. So let me go ahead and clean this out and we'll stick it back on. And looks like it went pretty good. Alright, I got my filter on there. You know, not my filter, my gasket. It's been one of those days. I'm just going to kind of lay it on there. I think I can probably hold it pretty steady and just kind of start to bolt up through it. But if you want, you can put a little bit of a sealer, just a tiny little bit around the edges just to kind of hold it in place. You're not supposed to put any other sealer on there. You're only supposed to use the gasket. So don't go taking sealer and just gasket maker and just plaster it. You don't want to do that. Just maybe a little dab here and there to hold it in place. Now, the filter, I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. Let me set the camera up here. I can't do this with the camera in my hand. And I'll go ahead and take this off and get ready to stick the new one on. And there'll probably be some more fluid coming out when you drop this off, so don't get too excited. Now, I'm probably going to have to move my pan up a little bit. See? Always a little more coming out than you expect. That's probably a half a quart right there, so it adds up. And this filter, boy, you can, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a lot of debris in there. See that? Back there, right where that cut is, there's some stuff in there. And I'm going to put the new one in. And also, make sure you get, there's a little gasket. That's right. Let's see here. Make sure you get that out. I'll have to run in there and get my pick real quick. Okay, I got my pick. It's a pretty big gasket too. Sometimes they can be a pain in the ass to get out. Like this one, of course. Why are you being so difficult? All right. Well, let me get a screwdriver. Well, here's my new filter. I'll show you what it looks like. And this is the gasket I'm trying to get out. It's this little green thing you see there. That's what's up in there. I think they super glued the damn thing in. Oh. Sorry folks, I had no idea this was going to be so hard to get out. Oh, there it is. All right, gee. All right, there's the gasket. Boy, that thing's hard. So you might have to take a screwdriver and kind of help yourself pry that out. And now we'll go ahead and pop this filter on there. Match them up, you know, make sure they're the same. Look at both of them, and we're good. And we'll go ahead and stick this in. Oh, much better. Yes. And let's see, right there, transmission light. We should be good there. Yep. And there is one brand new filter. And since I'm on a roll, I'm going to go ahead and grab the pan and stick it up here. I'm going to wipe a little of this off. Hopefully somebody will appreciate watching this video. I know there's a lot of guys on there that have thousands of videos of this and that, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I lost about 500 videos that I had saved up from years ago, but well, lost my camera, someone ripped it off, stole it, and all my stuff was on it, and so now I just upload stuff when I'm actually working to help people out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of bolts here, and we'll go ahead and I'm going to see how steady hand I am today. Oh, by the way, here is my gasket I got set up. I think I showed you this already. Got my magnet cleaned up, wiped the pan out, and I got the gasket kind of sitting on there. So I should be able to start a bolt and just kind of push it up on there. Unless you want to use a little, like I said, a sealer to kind of hold it in place. Go for it. But I am going to go ahead and try it and see if I can just get it started like this. And that'll help. That'll just make it a little bit faster. We'll just do this in real time. Alright, so we can start there a little bit. You know what? I messed up. I've got to actually drop that filter down just a little bit and turn it like that, I believe. Like that. There we go. Okay. my bad. Now we can put the pan on. Alright. I got one bolt started over here. Just kind of pushed up in it. Here we go. Did it like that. And one brand new pan. Brand new gasket. So, if you get one bolt started, just kind of finger tight. Don't do anything else. Make sure you just finger tight these bolts. Start them with your finger first, because if you don't, there is a good possibility you can strip them out and you will have a bad day. And really, now all I got to do is finish up my bolts. Put the rest of my bolts in. I'll do this by hand. I'll take my time and just put one bolt in at a time on each corner, and take my fluid and put my fluid back in. So that's basically all you have to do there, is get those bolts in there. Once you get the bolts started in there all the way around, then you can basically, where's my camera? Is it focused? There we go. You can get all the bolts started in with your hand and everything. That really makes it a lot easier if you just start it with your hand, because if you try to use a wrench or anything, there's a good chance you can strip a lot of these bolts out, and you don't want to do that. And all my bolts are in good shape. So let me go ahead and finish up the bolts in this. And the only other thing I can tell you, my fluid, I'm probably going to get some thumbs down, some hate mail on this, but I'm reusing my fluid, and I'll tell you why. It's only got about 3,000 or 4,000 miles on it. It's still red. I've got a little system set up in there where I filtered this to a cloth. I put it in a gallon jug, and I'm reusing it because this stuff is $5 a quart. And if you can save your fluid, do it. Don't go out and buy new fluid if you don't have to, because as long as it's red, and if it's nothing in it, you can reuse it. Because if you start putting new fluid in your transmission, you're going to change the viscosity of the transmission, and it may start shifting weird, and when it shifts in between gears, it may start grabbing, and you can feel it shifting. So the whole idea is that you want to keep the same viscosity in the transmission fluid that's in it, so your transmission will run the same. Anyway, enough of tech talk here. So let me go ahead and finish up these bolts, tighten them up, and we'll put some fluid in it, and we'll double check everything and see how it goes. So go ahead and do that, and we'll be back here in a minute. Alright, I got my fluid back in, and it looks good, no leaks. We go under here, and you can see everything looks pretty good. Alright, so let me shut it off and give you a couple of tips. Alright, now when you're, a couple quick tips here, after you get it all in, fluid and everything in it, make sure you have it on the level, because the way the pan is, all the fluid, if you're up like I am right now, when you check your fluid, it's going to look like it's, you have too much in it. When you back it back down, it's going to look like, well, it's okay. So make sure you check it when it's on the level and when it's warm. And also, when you're tightening up your bolts, make sure you use a ratchet. Just kind of do it by hand, because if you end up using something like this, there's a good chance you could strip out the bolts. And I think the torque specs was like 8 pounds. It's not very much, so just kind of be careful about that. Maybe look it up. And one more nice look at it here. Looks pretty good. There's the back of it. And that gasket should be okay. Shouldn't leak no more. And after you drive it, about 3 or 4 days, just kind of go into there and double check these bolts. Make sure none of them backed out or worked loose, because I've seen cases where they back out a little bit and you'll start to get a little bit of a leak. But that's the nature of these bolts. They're very small, and they have to do a lot of work to keep this pan nice and flush on the bottom of that transmission and keep that gasket nice and squished. So you just kind of check these bolts in a few days after you put your new filter and gasket on, and take it out and enjoy it. So I hope this helps everybody else. I'll take my wheel chocks out of there and go for a drive here in a little bit. But definitely check it when it's on the level. Make sure your fluid's okay, and that should get you through probably a couple of years of good driving. Unless you're going to keep it, it's going to be your car. You might as well take care of it, right? All right, well, that's about it, everybody. Thanks for watching, and good luck, and hopefully this will help you out. And if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give me a thumbs down and get the heck off my channel. All right, later, everybody.